So hello and welcome to this video on the Prok Modular bass drum, snare drum, hi-hat, clap modules from Thonk. Let's check out what's to come before we get into it. So these are virtual analog DSP led drums, synthesized drums, and we can morph between various sounds. Each unit has one bank on them, 4 quads and 16 patches. So we'll kind of go top level. A bank is just the machine itself. The quads we access by holding a button, and it will flash and move between 4 available slots. Within any given quad, we can then morph up to and between top left, bottom left, top right, bottom right, and morph between 4 different patches. Simply taking the output to record, but this will morph. So if I actually play the button while turning the knobs, and I'll do the same on the hi-hat quickly. Now there's some images and bits of video on screen from Thonk directly. I thought I'd use them in the video and they kindly sent over the files. Here's a quick look at the software editor and we can see there's just a ton of potential with oscillators and routing modulation all over the place. You can really customize these. Now let's just get into some sounds, modulating this thing, all the different kind of beats and sounds that are built in there. These modules, other than when running through effects, when I'll clearly tell you that's what I'm doing, are simply just being mixed in stereo. No compression, no EQ, raw Prok drum sounds throughout the whole video. So let's get stuck in. So muting out the beat, have a little bit of ping pong delay, and this kind of gritty bass sound. Let's remove the bass sound, kill the effects, and just have a super quick listen to these Prok modules with this beat. Removing the modulation. I'll just blend across to each of the 4 corners before we move on to another beat. So turning off my bass line, here's the raw Prok drums, just for a little house beat this time, and we're in the second quad rather than the first one for that D and B beat that you heard a minute ago. Holding the button, we'll cycle through these quads, and we're in the second one, top right for all of these Prok drums. Quick little scan around the sounds. Lots of nice kind of little clappy like noise hits on this bass drum in this particular quad. The snare. Now the hi-hat. Just love the sound of the morphing. Pitches, tones, lengths of things changing. Clap. There's a nice little reverb character, and that's all built into this DSP, the virtual analog synthesis that's actually running on these. The reverb's right there. Nice crunchy, chunky little kind of house beat. Okay, so that's pretty full on. The compression from Lollipop, some PT delay, and also some distortion was an effects chain that I had running. I'll bring it in and out. And there's the Prok drums, completely dry, like the rest of the video. They're not being compressed. This was for the effects chain. Just wanted to make it clear they're just listening to these Prok drums. So this is the third quad, much more kind of hard, industrial driven sounds, great for harder techno, grungy, industrial, or just some kind of mangled beats. So again, let's just have a quick play around and check out the sounds. Kick. Good range of harder, FME, knocky, kind of deep kicks in there. That's the snare, the hats. And the clap. Bringing my nasty effects chain back. So here's the fourth quad, lots of interesting, odd sounds in this one. So let's just have a quick play around before we do anything else. There's this little resonant ping-pongy blip. I'll take that out shortly. Here's the kick. And this quad of these sounds really kind of highlights the variety in this DSP and the range of potential in this virtual analog. So that's the kick, snare, hats, take out the modulation, clap. And again, all that reverb, this is all entirely on the Prok modules, all led by this DSP on board. Interesting wonky beat out of this one. So here's a patch with the bass, drum, snare, hi-hat and clap all in different quads, just for different sounds that I've kind of mixed and matched together, and just a lot of random modulation, some looping from the Turing Machine, thrown into, say, the hats. So you get this kind of nice looping riff, it's not entirely random. The clap pans slightly right. He's just changing, a little bit more subtle than, say, the hi-hats movement. And it feels like the pitch and the kind of whoosh, the kind of swoosh of the noise is changing. And the kick has two triangle LFOs moving both the X and Y independently around this quad, around this space of these four patches. And because they're all morphing and it's not samples in any way, it's actually morphing through this virtual analog DSP. Even just throwing that much kind of random and modulation at it, we still get an interesting, coherent beat out of it. Now some stereo granular loop, just for flavour. So in this patch, we're going to look at more intentional CV modulation over the Prok modules. Rather than just throwing random in, I've got kind of state or like preset changes with 8 different CVs coming from some pressure points and analog memory modules, so I can use 8 voltages to address the X and Y on all 4 drums and kind of scene change or preset change between my performance. Now I could have this influencing my sequences and kind of build a whole set this way, but for the sake of this patch I just want to demo the Prok drums and their tonal changes. There is this distorted, delayed sample. I'm going to leave that in just while I play for a minute before I take it out. So here's my pressure points and analog memory modules. 8 rows of voltages, up to 8 steps. I'm just using the first 3. 8 voltages to the X and Y of the bass drum, XY in the snare, XY hi-hat, XY on the clap. So each one is tuned in to certain parameters that I like. And I could sequence through these, reset them, play through them backwards, change on a kind of per beat basis rather than every bar. For some nice intentional kind of preset-like changing of these drum sounds. So that's it for this video on the Prok drum modules. As I said at the start, virtual analog DSP led bass drum, snare drum, hi-hat and clap modules. Link in the description to go check out the Prok modules with thonk.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, comment if you like what I do. Support me on patreon.com/DivKid if you're into that kind of thing. Cheers for watching.